Good evening, Muskin Enjoyers. I hope you're doing alright. So I thought, you know what? Why not go ahead and do another update with post-Christmas? And from where I ended my last video, I sat there and said, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and start making some sales. It's probably not going to be too bad. And to be honest, no, it wasn't really that bad. So if you can look through the difference between these 2 weeks of sales, you might notice that, I've gained some significant money. And across the board, I've got close to maxing out 4 accounts. I've actually maxed out 5. This account here, if you've noticed, that actually got exhausted, and I essentially left it to go buy a whole bunch of things, such as the Legacy Kevlar set, which I'll elaborate on a little bit later. But yeah, I made a whole bunch of sales, and it wasn't even really that hard. And in the meantime, I've also made a fairly decent amount of purchases as well. So as we scroll down here, with some random buy orders, I picked up like Counter-Strike cases, made a direct purchase of some more skins, and I've pointed out some notable purchases I made through buy orders. There are a few more that I should still add, but I can't add every single thing. But yeah, I basically bought out some Sand Rhino face masks very recently. So what we're going to do is, for this video, we're just going to quickly talk about how, the sales went, how the prices of skins are currently behaving. We could talk a little bit more in trying to figure out why prices didn't work out very nicely this year for post-Christmas compared to all the previous years. It's like nothing. So let's just jump in then. So over the past several weeks, we haven't even really maxed out accounts until now, which is absolutely insane. So normally, I'd have probably started maxing out accounts at the very end of December, but things didn't exactly look super great then. Funnily enough, for most skins over the past 3 or so weeks, the best prices were in fact at the very end of December. So yeah, as I've already made mention, this post-Christmas has been very weak compared to previous ones. It's the weakest one I've seen in about 5 years. So whilst skins have sold nicely, it's just not really been insane prices. It's not absolutely terrible, for sure. It's not awful. We are not suffering in terms of Ruskin prices, but we're not exactly seeing Ruskin prices being insane, as we normally would during the likes of January. So one of the main things we were expecting, with the likes of it being January, is that a lot of people would be playing. And last weekend, we did in fact see a lot of people playing. In 3 different instances, over 175,000 people playing over the course of the last weekend. Throughout this past week, we've had some very nice rises in player counts up to about 130, 140,000. But we did have a very notable problem at the very beginning of the week. There's a Steam authentication issue. And that very likely could have affected a lot of people's moods, momentum in playing Rust. Essentially, if I could just quickly verify this, Steam authentication timeout pane. There was a significant amount of people that couldn't even log in and play the game properly. And imagine if only a portion of people struggled because of that, and many other people still could play properly. So imagine if you couldn't get in, but your neighbours were still playing. They picked up all the resources, upgraded their base. They probably raided you all the while you couldn't even log in. So I imagine a lot of people jumped in, found out they had nothing, they couldn't compete with everybody else, and they probably gave up. And it really does look like it put a damper on the overall player count. So from here, it's just been fairly weaker, especially compared to the previous week. Now, also, with this current week, it's obviously expected that a lot of people return to schools properly, college, work and whatnot. Yeah, it's been a fair bit awkward. And as you can see, at the beginning of the week, it was fairly tame, and then it starts to rise up ever so nicely for the weekend, and very likely it'll go back down again during the week. That's normal, isn't it? So maybe I'm applying too much of a story to all of it. But there's also another thing we have to point out. We've actually beaten the average player count compared to last year now. So January 2023, we had 95,273 for our average player count. But over to here, we've already surpassed that with 95,676. In fact, I think we're also beating just about the July average player count. Now, of course, if the player counts that we see here does manage to stick around and be like this, we'll very likely potentially have the highest player count in a long time, average player count. But it hasn't really amounted to anything. We were hoping to see a lot of people playing. We were hoping to see a very high average player count. We were hoping that would lead to a significant increase in demand for all skins across the board, and of course prices going up to insane prices, but it didn't. It didn't happen. So this is where I will now show you one of my accounts over to here. So yeah, you can see I've already got a whole bunch of sales to show off here, but with great thanks to my extensions, Steam Inventory Helper and Augmented Steam, I can actually do this, and I can show you so much more. So I did stick with my strategy, my point of don't sell skins in big fat batches, only kind of limit yourself to about 3 to 5 skins, and as you can see with how it's all been listed out and how they've all been picked up, you can clearly notice I didn't unload like 100 skins at a time. I did it all in very reasonable small portions. I didn't want to kill prices. I wanted to be very mellow. I wanted to just insert my sales, let them happen, and I'll come back to it later and I'll list some more. And that has worked perfectly for me. Even with prices slowly going down, I'm still managing very nicely. And in many instances, I did have pending. And this is where I should probably bring up the likes of pending. So pending has actually proven to be very helpful. As you can see here, I've got about like $35 worth of pending right there. If I were to show you this account, yep, this is account 4. If you can't remember, my maximum allowed Steam wallet is £1,700. Why is it that I have 1,717, sorry. Because of pending. Pending kind of like exiles your money away, but it doesn't contribute to your maximum wallet. So you can still see I have listings here still, and I have money above my maximum Steam wallet. But yeah, it was all thanks to pending. So I kept making sales, and some of it ended up in pending, and I got very, very, very close, but I still had listings. And when the final big significant chunk of pending finally went through and actually added to my wallet, well, I'm now in a position where I can't actually add any more listings. If I were to remove these, I will not be able to list them again until the money goes back down again. So I'd rather just leave them. Essentially, this is now a maxed out account, which is lovely to see, and I'm very happy for it. And that's not the only one. Over to my main account over here. Right now I'm looking at the newest Rust Workshop skins being submitted. Oh, Thundergold version 2. I'm very I very much like to see that being accepted. Anyway, as you can see here, if I go to the community market, you'll notice that I also have over £1,700 and still some listings left. So yeah, that's happened several times. I think I've done it 3 or 4 times now. So yes, pending can prove to be very helpful for you if you kind of position yourself right. But here's how I've basically worked my way around with my skins. What I've done was I went through the process in maxing out one account and then another account on the side. And then when I did both of them, I grabbed all the skins they had remaining because, if I can't sell anything else there anymore, I'll start selling on the other accounts. So I've basically moved all the skins that were, looking to be perfectly fine to sell, moved on to the next ones and whatnot. And so far, currently in my position, I have 4 maxed out accounts. Some are still kind of selling a little bit more to get to a higher point. And as I can show you over to here, this is not signed in, you idiot. No, I forgot to sign in. I was about to show off the other account here, but as you can clearly see, this is the current account I'm trying to build up on, and I do have an account over here, which I can show you here, which is also starting to make some sales, and I've got to move some skins over to here and keep continuing to sell on here and whatnot. So yeah, selling, not hard. It's not been hard at all to make some sales. It's just the prices haven't been selling at much higher prices. I am sitting here and I am confirming if we had like last year's post-Christmas, I would have maxed out all 8 of my accounts already by now, and I would have done that about 2 weeks ago, and all the sales I would have been doing right about now would have been like just extra wonderful things. Like, yes, I have made some very interesting purchases. So with the likes of Legacy Kevlar really being popular at the moment, I've inserted some money into there. I've probably made a good few $1,000s worth of sales. Purchases, sorry. But yeah, I've had to replenish the money I spent with the sales I'm doing with my Rust skins. So yeah, overall, this is why I keep track of it, because I will have to add up the amount of money I've been spending and consider that as part of the amount of stuff I've sold, if that makes sense to you. Because if I've replenished it with Rust skins, that money would then, also show how much Rust skins I've sold. So yeah, I'm keeping track of everything to a reasonable point. And in short, it's not hard to sell your skins even now. But again, they're just not insane prices. And this is where I want to show you some comparisons. So you know how I made a big fuss that early October of 2023 was the best time to jump in and make a purchase, because it really did look like that was the lowest price point for everything. Turns out it was 100% correct. So let's just remind all of you. If you go to my playlists here, you'll see my Rust Christmas Investing 2023 playlist, and there's a specific video right here, October lowest price points 2023. It was correct. This was 100% correct. This video right here perfectly pointed out, guys, now's the best time to jump in and make some purchases, and now I want to show you what happened. So essentially across the board, every single skin from early October to now has doubled in price, and that's not too hard to notice. I could look at Capybara Rock. I could probably go ahead and look at what's another pretty decent thing that's done rather well that came out a reasonably decent amount of time ago. You know what? Skull Rock might be okay. It's an item, but it still might work. And then we have the likes of maybe the Fireflies Double Wooden Door. So in short, take a look at this skin right now, Capybara Rock, part of the, well, it was one of the many interesting pet rock skins that were introduced in 2023. Various different skin creators, I should point out. But anyway, right now, $2.26. But how was it at the very beginning of October in 2023? And yeah, whilst it doesn't look very insane, it is somewhat fairly recent when it came out. But that lowest point to here, this was selling for around $1.50 here, and it reached a very nice high price of about $2.50 here. Not an insane jump, but that just kind of sets the trend that a lot of skins were very low around here, and they went up. Now, as we slowly go through all of these, you might notice that that's just basically the exact same thing across the board. So we had a very low point around here. Yep. Low point, October 1st, $2.50-ish. And, well, it went very high there for some strange reason, probably because it was Halloween, but it went back down again. And then back over to here, it was selling for about $4. Yeah. So, again, same sort of situation, almost doubled in price. And if I quickly hop over to here, we have the likes of Fireflies, Double Wooden Doors, $2.67 right now, but what was it back in October time? And, well, damn, that was actually pretty low, look at that. So this was actually reaching a low point of about $2 here, and it reached a somewhat high point of about $3 here. So, yeah, not every single thing went up by $2. Doubled in price, I mean, sorry to say. But it worked out very nicely for many skins. So one thing that you definitely want to be aware of in the future is look around all the skins around October time in 2024 at the very least, and start making considerations to make some purchases. I know Celt Rug's risen up in price ever so nicely. So as we take a look at this, yep, look at that. Look at that. So as much as you can sit there and say post-Christmas wasn't very good this year, it's perfectly fine if you did make a whole bunch of purchases at the right time. So again, early October, from here to there, we can see that this was selling at 85 cents maybe, and now this is selling for about $2. Yeah. So that doubled in price. There's plenty of skins that are like this. So this is something you definitely need to be aware of in the future. When we're going through the likes of the autumn-fall seasonal dip, once we reach around October time, look at all the skins, right? Maybe on a focus some skins that have been fairly more popular back during the summertime. That's actually a very good thing to do. But yeah, just look around, make some smart purchases, wait it out until January time, and even if it's like this year's post-Christmas, you're still walking away with a very decent price, a decent profit. So, yeah, it's awkward, very awkward, but again, still profitable. So, just remember, you might sit there and say, Hedge, this wasn't as good as you said, and I'm struggling now. Buddy, I've got 46,000 of these things. I was expecting so much more, and it didn't work out, unfortunately. Now, I very likely might wrap up the whole focusing of this inventory here, and I'll show off my actual inventory maybe at the end of this month. But across the board, it's not been good. It could have been so much better, but it just wasn't meant to be, unfortunately. So, yeah, I hope you've still managed to make some sales. Maybe things might still work out towards the end of this month. That was something we were hoping for, wasn't it? But I don't think that's happening. By the way, as you can clearly see, Legacy Kevlar's been doing insane. Absolutely wonderful. So I actually maxed out my account over here. Yep. This account very recently had over £1,700, and I completely maxed out my total buy order amount. So I had £1,700 and £17,000 worth of total buy order amount, and I went ahead and bought 100 Legacy Kevlar hoodie and pants, and I had a very good buy order for Legacy Kevlar hoodie and pants. Now, it turns out that Legacy Kevlar and pants have been dumped. That's unfortunate. Or dumped onto me at the very least. They are still above their rush door price, but from here and now, we are still anticipating the likes of the boots and gloves potentially being accepted soon, but I was happy and fine with this purchase because I know down the line these will rise back up in price at the very least to a point where I'm still retaining value. And with this account essentially being like dead, I can't make any more sales with it. I can now, but I couldn't when it was maxed out, and I can't make any more buy orders with it. It's no longer any use to me. So if anything, with what I have here, I can just trade it over to another account. If I really wanted to, I could sell them, but I'd rather wait it out a little bit longer because I'm pretty sure we're still going to see some more Legacy Kevlar skins soon. So I made a bit of a fuss about this, but even then, I could quickly trade over some skins that are still selling very nicely and max out this account again. And yeah, I mean, why not? Why not? Got to keep selling these Rust skins whilst I can, whilst they're at a higher price, because once we reach around the springtime, yeah, things might go a fair bit awkward. Things might be going down again, which is unfortunate, but yeah, it is what it is. So post-Christmas this year, at the current time right now, I'm going to sit here and say was a bit of a dud. But because I bought a whole bunch of skins early October time, I'm still sitting here saying I'm walking away with a fairly decent profit. I hope you did the same thing. I hope you've actually walked away with a decent profit, a decent amount of money. And I could point this out, like the meta skins still went up. And they're still kind of trending upwards. So if I go to Forest Raiders, for example, I saw this very recently. I saw the likes of the pants reaching a new all-time high price, and it looks like they're still doing it. Yeah. So what we'll probably want to do now is talk specifically about what's kind of happened overall with the skins. So yeah, we've got the likes of this selling here at $31. And if you were to look at the sales history, yep. And even that, another situation, early October, and then here now, it's basically doubled in price and reaching a new all-time high. So very in demand, the Forest Raiders collection. But we now need to talk a little bit more in regards to how many skins did we actually get given in 2023? And I have to give credit to Mr. Cheese Taco for bringing this up. Turns out, over the course of 2023, we got a massive surge in extra skins. So apparently right now, we have over 4,000 skins in Rust. But in the likes of 2023, we saw an extra 600 to 800 extra skins given to us. And of course, that does include the likes of Twitch drops and special skins that are given to us for free. But when you kind of add it all up, maybe half the reason why people didn't feel the need to go buy some skins now is because, you know, they just got a whole bunch of interesting skins over the past year or two or 3 or 4. There's been loads of Twitch drops. And maybe some of the newer skins just don't really appeal to people. Maybe it's also down to the fact that in the whole world, there's the cost of living crisis, and people just don't really have that much money, spare money to spend, you know, for entertainment and fun purposes. But they can't give their kids money to go waste on pixels on the internet. But yeah, if you kind of add up all these things all together, it kind of leads to the idea of, I guess people just didn't really want to buy because they just didn't really need to. That sucks, doesn't it? Especially when you're an investor and you hear something like that. So my outlook for the rest of this year, I'm looking at these new Rust stores and I'm thinking I probably only want to just stick with doing smart buy orders from here and now. Because whilst there's a lot of interest in skins at the moment, yeah, with the sales for sure, I'm sitting here and thinking, right, it might look cool now, but what's going to happen around springtime? What's going to happen around summertime? I expect it to rise back up again when loads of kids are out of school, summer vacation and whatnot. But then again, with what we just went through over the past few months, September, November, October, November, yeah, I got that in wrong order, but you know what I mean. When we approach another autumn, fall seasonal dip, could it potentially be even worse in 2024? I worry for that. And that is why I'm thinking maybe this year I'm just going to stick with doing buy orders. Says the guy who just bought a whole bunch of Legacy Kevlar. But in the position I was with a maxed out account, I was happy to buy it because I feel like I could sell it and retain my money at some point in the future. It really did look like a perfectly fine thing to put my money towards. Legacy Kevlar, as of now, in January time, is very in demand, and I can see it having a very nice future ahead of it, especially if we do see more continuations being made and accepted. So yeah, took advantage of what was available to spend some money on, because direct purchases aren't affected by the buy orders and whatnot. So yep, that's cool. And yeah, my outlook might seem a little bit but honestly, again, if you know what things are likely going to end up being like, you can prepare for that, and being a little bit more prepared can definitely save you, prepare you for potential bad things. And if you can just manage to avoid it and, you know, be smart with your money in how much you offer, you could pick up so many things for super cheap and sell it for so much more when the time is right. So aka, if you bought at a good price around early October in 2023 and sold fairly recently, you did it right. And this is something you have to learn from for this upcoming year. So be prepared for around October time again. And, well, post-Christmas 2025, I sure hope it's a lot better. I sure hope it's a lot better. But at the very least, you have all of these videos to return to and slowly see my happiness drain away. But, yeah, it's a learning experience. And sometimes a failure, it hurts, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So, yeah, very awkward. It's a shame. But, again, still made a profit. But I know if it was like any other year, it would have been a lot more profit. But profit is profit, and I will work with it. I will walk towards new adventures. We shall see. So, I still think it's just too many investors all selling at once. It very likely is another contributing factor. I wouldn't rule that out, Mr. Applejuice. But like I said, if you can do a very smart buy order, everything can still work out to be a very nice profit. It's just going to be very awkward as all. So even with increasing player counts, it's just not really matching up to the increasing amounts of skins being given to us. And potentially they're becoming less special and therefore less valuable, which isn't good. But we've got to keep an eye on these things, and we just keep track of it all. We should be doing better. All right, we should be doing fairly all right. So here's my hand to all of you. Grab it and let's go towards our newest adventures. 2024, how are you going to turn out? Well, just around the corner, we do anticipate with the likes of the CS2 Major, Copenhagen 2024. It very likely will be introducing some interesting stickers, capsules and whatnot, which will likely cause a lot of people wanting to unload their Rust skins. Therefore, Rust skin prices go down. But as I already mentioned, with the summertime, kids will be out of school and they'll be hopping on Rust. And that very likely, hopefully, could give us a nice boost in skin prices for what we did not see with the likes of this January 2024 post-Christmas. So, yeah. So it's up to you what you do with your skins now. But I am still anticipating that prices are going to be worse once we reach in March time, in just 2 months' time. Because that major will be kicking off during the middle of March. But about 5 days before that, all the new stickers will be out by then. And that, unfortunately, will likely be D-Day, you know, for all of our skins. So, quick refresh here. Has it changed? No. Okay, cool. So, sorry if it kind of felt a bit glum with this video. But as I said, at the end of the day, if you bought at the right time, you still very likely at least made some good profits. In quite a lot of cases, doubled your money with your investments on skins. I didn't have the best of examples to show off instantly. But again, if you just look at many skins that probably came out 2022 time or early 2023 time, look at their lowest point around October time. Look at the prices they sold for within the past 2 or 3 weeks, and yeah, you'll very likely notice it would have done around or almost double in price. So, cool. And with that, thank you very much for watching me. We'll see what the future holds. But at the very least, I still did make a profit, and at the very least, I hope you did too. So, it might not have been amazing, but profit is profit. We walk towards the next adventure. Okay, cool. So, thank you very much for watching this. I greatly appreciate it. And yeah, we'll see what happens next.